Let's talk about something that overwhelms a lot of people when they're trying to get their finances together. Because one of the most common questions I get is, how am I supposed to save for an emergency fund, sinking funds, invest, and pay off debt, all while still keeping up with regular responsibilities and expenses? If you've ever felt like you're failing because you can't do it all at once, this video is for you. And honestly, when I first started my personal finance journey, I wanted to do everything at the same time. Sometimes personal finance content can be information overload. And a lot of times, no one tells you two really important things. One, you don't have to do everything at once. And two, there's actually a way to prioritize your financial goals. A lot of advice out there almost entirely focuses on debt. And don't get me wrong, debt matters, but let's be real. Most of us don't have a ton of disposable income available to go towards all these goals, especially in the current economy. If you're new here, I'm Brianne. I'm a CPA and I focus on building money systems that actually work in real life. Most money advice online treats every financial goal as equally urgent. So people end up trying to split one paycheck into 10 different directions. And what happens is in progress, it's burnout. And yes, I agree, small progress is better than no progress. But sometimes tiny progress across too many different things doesn't actually get you to the real goal, which for most people is reducing money stress and anxiety. If you're feeling behind with your money, sometimes it's not just because of your income, it's because of how you're prioritizing your goals. Now, there's something that always comes up at this point. Shouldn't you prioritize debt first since it's usually high interest? From a math perspective, yes, sometimes. But money decisions don't happen in spreadsheets and calculators. They happen in real life. So let me ask you this. If you don't have an emergency fund or a sinking fund and something comes up, maybe a medical bill or job disruption, or even something less extreme, like maybe your car stops working and this prevents you from being able to get to work, where is that money going to come from? For most people, it goes right back on their credit card. So you can be making extra debt payments, but still not actually moving forward because you're constantly undoing your progress. High interest debt is expensive, but unstable cash flow is even more expensive. And to be clear, I'm not talking about having a perfect emergency fund. I'm not telling you to have 6 months or even 3 months of expenses before you start paying off your debt. This is about a starter buffer. I'm talking about having maybe $1,000 to $2,000 set aside, because most unexpected expenses that come up tend to fall within that range. This is about not taking one step forward just to be forced 2 steps back when life happens. Stopping financial emergencies from becoming financial setbacks. So this is actually the order that works best for most people. And notice that none of this is about being perfect. First, start with a small emergency fund. Not huge, just enough so that when something unexpected comes up, you can handle it without reaching for your credit card. And at the same time, you're still making at least the minimum payments on your debt. That part doesn't stop. This is just about staying current and keeping things stable. Once you've got that little bit of breathing room, that's when sinking funds start making a little bit more sense. Because a lot of the things we call emergencies are actually things that we knew were going to come up. And those things shouldn't keep throwing your entire budget off. And then once your cash flow isn't so fragile, that's when starting to put extra money towards your debt starts to actually work. Because you're not constantly undoing your progress when life happens. And investing usually comes after that. Not because it isn't important, because it absolutely is, but just because it works best when your money isn't already stretched thin. And this doesn't mean that you're never going to invest or that you're ignoring debt forever. It just means you're giving your goals order instead of making them compete with each other. Now, I do want to add some nuance here because there are definitely situations where debt repayment should come first. For example, very high interest payday loans. The interest on those type of loans are usually astronomical, so I would advise paying them as soon as possible. Or if you already have stable income and an emergency fund in place, at that point you've got a much stronger foundation. Personal finance is personal. The right order depends on your risk, not just your interest rate. When every dollar has 10 jobs, none of them feel successful and progress starts to feel invisible. And when progress feels invisible, it's easier to quit because you get discouraged. Focusing on one goal at a time doesn't slow you down, it keeps you consistent. So how do you actually apply this to your own life? First, identify what you're trying to do all at once. Then ask yourself, which one of these would remove my money stress the fastest if I made real progress towards it? Choose that one primary focus and commit to it for the next 3 to 6 months. And remember, minimum debt payments still happen alongside all of this. This isn't about shifting money away from bills and responsibilities. It's about prioritizing where extra money goes. If you've been feeling behind or overwhelmed, I hope this video gave you permission to simplify. You're not doing it wrong, you just need a better order. If this helped, like this video and subscribe. And let me know in the comments, what are you prioritizing right now?